Hello, everyone. Dr. Hassaan Tohid here, and I'm here with an amazing session as usual. And I'm going to share the link with you so everyone can join. I want to make sure that everyone is here, and we are going to start. Let's do that, and let's do that. And I'm now about to share the link. And anyone who is watching me for the first time, please click on the subscribe button and comment subscribed, and I'll come and reply to you. I'll appreciate. I'll come and reply to you. I'll also respond to your message. That's a very useful thing to do because I'm going to conduct so many live sessions every week, and I want to make sure that you guys learn more and more because the field of research is never ending. There is so much to learn, guys. It can never be finished, and I keep learning every single day. And the more I learn, the more I realize how much there is to learn. The more I learn, the more I realized that I don't know anything. So I keep increasing my knowledge. I keep reading, keep learning, keep studying, just like you guys are. And I want to make sure that you guys save your time. You don't have to work and read those many books as I had to. You don't have to, waste time until you grasp the concept, because I have grasped the concepts and I will share those concepts with you. And I want to make sure that you guys are really, really strong when it comes to research, and you are never ever confused about research. So let's begin, and please do come and comment here. I will reply to you. Do introduce yourselves to me once you're here. Anyone who is joining this session for the first time, anyone who is joining my session for the first time, please feel free to comment, and I will respond to you, of course. And just give me a few more minutes before I begin, and I'm going to share the link with you. And guys, everyone knows this, right? That I conduct my sessions every week. This week I could not conduct a session. That's why before the week ended, I was so determined that no matter what happens, I will do my session on Sunday. No matter what happens. I was so busy today, and I felt I will not be able to make it. But I said no. For past almost 2 years, I have never missed my weekly session. And today was the last day of the week. If I had missed today's session, I would have really regretted. I would have, regretted, not only regretted, but I would have felt bad in my own eyes. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that because my students, I know my sincere students and sincere followers, they know that I will not miss a session. So I didn't want to disappoint them. I didn't want to disappoint myself as well. So I am finally here. I'm glad today I have the live session, and I'm starting it late, I know, but at least we have a session today. And this session is very important. I always remember, I always have to pre-plan what to study. And today I have come up with a topic of 6 key concepts. If you understand those 6 key concepts, you will be very strong in research field. You will be way ahead of the crowd. And we are talking about these 6 key concepts that not everyone knows. Actually, these are common sense, to be very honest. People know these concepts, but they forget about it. They don't think these concepts are important, and that's where they make mistakes. That's where they make mistakes. And just give me a few more seconds until everyone is here and I can see people are joining. I'm glad you guys have joined. And anyone who is not watching me live, you can watch this recordings later, because I'm not going to delete it. And all the new admissions who have just started their training, I hope you guys enjoyed your classes. I hope you guys enjoyed the training session, and I hope you guys are learning and growing. And now all the new admissions, I would like to tell you, first of all, congratulations. I want to congratulate all of you. I want to congratulate all of you, and I want to discuss this as well, that make sure you have created an account on the website. You have created an account on the website. That's extremely important, because if you don't have the account on the website, you will not be able to watch so many videos that will enhance and expand your concepts and knowledge base as well. And those videos are very, very important. And we have given you some gift courses. Do you know we have given you some gift courses? For all the IMGs applying for US residency, those courses will really, really help you. You will see some other places they charge for those courses, but we have given you free of cost those courses with this training program. Everything, CV writing, personal statement, and Once you will watch those things, you will understand how valuable those sessions are, because you cannot find a better personal statement session course than that. You cannot find career related courses better than those, because I have put all of my blood and soul into those courses. You guys, I think anyone who knows me and is aware of how I work and how our students have performed, you know that I don't do ordinary thing. I want to make sure that I do the best thing. Otherwise, don't do it. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. There is a restaurant here. There's an Indian restaurant here, and uh, a very renowned restaurant. I don't want to mention the name, here in California, Northern California, uh, Bay Area. So let me tell you a funny thing about them. So what they do is they give you a free they give you a free cup of tea. They give you a free cup of tea when you come to that restaurant. They give you a free cup of tea, and their tea is so bad, guys. Their tea is so terrible. Everyone says that, what a terrible tea. Their tea is so terrible. So nobody likes their tea. Nobody appreciates their tea, and they give it for free. So because they are giving it for free, they think that, okay, it can be of low quality. But here they are wrong, and they don't understand this thing, that this is going to destroy their whole future in terms of their restaurant's future. Because if you want to give something of bad quality and you're giving it for free, then don't give it at all. Because if you have decided to give anything for free, that should be the best quality ever. This tells how selfish you are, that you only take care of the quality of the things that people are paying for. And remember, if you have the philosophy that anything that is as a gift, that is given as a gift, is of high quality, it will reflect in other things as well. You will have a habit of developing high quality content or high quality material. Same thing with courses. If anyone is giving you something free and that is of low quality, they are actually destroying their whole future, because that philosophy will reflect in their other subjects, other matters as well. So I want to make sure that our material, what we give to you, is of extremely high quality. When we give you something as a gift, those are the same courses that people pay humongous amount to get those courses, but we have given you those courses for free because you're our enrolled students, and I understand that as a gift, I want you guys to be benefited with those courses. So I make sure that you have those on your account. So make sure you create an account on the website. Now let me mention everyone's names who have commented here. Ahmad, hi Ahmed, and Avera, who's Avera Kam, and Ahmed Mustafa, Mona, Asma Muazzam, Tariq Zain, Sri Nayani, Javeria, and Chaya. Chaya is a very good student. Thank you, Chaya, and for being so punctual, and the way you are working on your paper. I remain in touch with all the students, so I know who is performing really, really well. So I appreciate Chaya, and all the way from Israel, all the way from Israel, attending the sessions and learning and growing. This is amazing. And people from Egypt, we have students from Egypt, students from India, students from Pakistan, all parts of the world. So this is great. And I know there are a few students today, because I did this session late. So I understand that. And that's why I will keep the recordings, and we will begin. Let me start. So today is a topic on 6 key concepts. This is very important. Remember, 6 key concepts of research. Thank you, Chaya. 6 key concepts of research. So what are the 6 key concepts of research that everyone should know, that everyone should be aware of? So I would like everyone to take notes. Bring your notebooks, whatever you have, something like that, notebook, where you can take notes. Don't miss it. Key concepts, six key concepts. I was planning to do seven, but I thought six is fine. We will discuss others in the next class. Although there are more concepts, of course, that should be there. So the first thing first, every student should know basic versus applied research. The concept of basic versus applied research, and this will help you understand the idea behind research question. So what is the basic versus applied research concept? Remember, there are different kinds of research studies, the different kinds of research, and we have divided them into different categories in different ways. So don't get scared. Like, for example, we have basic versus applied. We also have qualitative versus quantitative. We have descriptive versus analytical. We have theoretical versus empirical. So this is how we have divided the studies. When you hear these terminologies, don't get scared of these terminologies. They are very easy. People just unnecessarily scare people of research, and everyone thinks that, oh, these are difficult concepts. I can never be a researcher. I cannot learn this. These are baby concepts, guys. And I will solve these issues for you. These are baby concepts. Don't worry about it, about this, okay? And remember, why base is important, just like any other field. If you are writing your research papers and your base is weak, you will struggle, not only in your paper, but you may struggle in the residency interviews. If they ask any question related to research, you may struggle, and I don't want any of the students to struggle. So let's begin. So we'll talk about first the basic versus applied. Guys, remember, what is basic research? So the biggest misconception many people have is that the research of basic science is basic research. No, it's not. Remember, when you have a research question whose answer is yes or no, it is a basic research question. Basic research, when you have a research question whose answer comes out as yes or no. Hi, Olive, how are you? Long time. Thank you for joining us. Amazing students. I'm so grateful that we have people like you and students like you. Thank you, Olive. And guys, remember, please keep attending more and more sessions. Even after your 2 months are over, keep learning and keep attending my sessions. There is a reason, because I keep improving the material. I keep myself educated and updated with the knowledge, the real and the new knowledge, and I keep adding more and more information. And that's what CIBNP is all about as well. You will see the course material will also be updated every few months. We try our best to do that every few months. If not, then at least every year we try to update our course and the material and the information. We believe in changes. We believe in improvement. And the same thing you will see in my videos. I will discuss new topics, different topics, improved topics, and some ideas that you did not learn during the classes. So if you keep yourself updated with the videos, you will be very strong in research, and for rest of your lives you will enjoy the process of research, and you will be way ahead of the crowd if you keep learning. So basic research, the concept of basic research is when you have a research question whose answer comes out as yes or no. This is basic research. Now, for example, let me give you an example. Is tuberculosis prevalent in India? The answer is either yes or the answer is no. Is COVID-19 prevalent in the US? The answer is either yes or the answer is no. We actually don't know if the answer is yes or no, right? We don't know yet. We have started a question, so it doesn't matter if the answer is yes or no. That is an important thing too. What we are talking about is if we have a research question that answers in a yes or no, it's a basic research question. We don't care if it really is a yes or if it really is a no. For example, is malaria common in the US? The answer is no. Malaria is common in Africa and in Asian countries, right? Malaria is not common in the US. So is malaria common in the US? This question is, the answer will be no, but it is a basic research question. Is cystic fibrosis common in the US? The answer would be no, it's more common in Europe, right? So I hope you understand the concept that this is the research question. So if this is a kind of research question, as basic research question. Now, applied. What is applied research question? The same research question can actually be converted into an applied research question. The same research question can be converted into an applied research question. So what is an applied research? Applied research is tuberculosis. Hold on. This is basic. Is tuberculosis common in India, right? Is tuberculosis common in India? Same question will be converted into applied question. Now, what will be the applied question of this question? How do we treat tuberculosis? How do we manage tuberculosis? How do we treat tuberculosis? How do we prevent tuberculosis? How do we screen tuberculosis? So now remember that applied questions are always about solutions. Applied questions are always about solutions, but basic questions are always about a yes or no. If the problem is there or not, and applied is usually the solutions. So this is the basic concept. Now, for your research projects, if you are working on your papers, what kind of research question you should have? Basic or applied? Don't do basic, because basic is really for somebody who has just started their research life and they just want to know the idea behind basic research question. Basic research question, hold on, one more thing. Let's just discuss one more thing. So we know yes and no, right? But what about this research question? Where do I put it? This research question, where do I keep it? The research question is, what is the pathophysiology of multiple sclerosis? Is it a yes or no? Is it a yes or no question? Tell me first, is it a yes or no question, or is it a solution-based question? Is it a yes or no question, or is it a solution-based question? What is the pathophysiology of multiple sclerosis? Remember, guys, Ahmed Mustafa, you are pretty close. Remember, applied is always the solution. The treatment, the management, the screening, the prevention, the diagnosis. Solution. Where is the treatment here? Where is the diagnosis here? Where is the management? Where is the prevention here? So it's not applied. But at the same time, it is not even basic as well, right? Because basic was yes or no. So now, what is it? Remember, it is also basic. This question is basic. So basic is not always. Basic question is not always a yes and no. Basic question is not always yes and no. I wanted to make sure I explain this thing to you and you guys understand the concept that basic research question is not always yes and no. A basic research question can simply be a pathophysiology paper question. What are the risk factors of tuberculosis? Is it basic or applied? What are the risk factors of lung cancer? Please type. What are the risk factors of lung cancer? Is it basic research question or is it applied? Basic. Very good. You got it now. What is the prevalence of tuberculosis in Africa? Is it basic or is it applied? That's again basic. So do you now understand the concept? That simple way to remember this is applied is always solution, treatment, management, screening, but basic is everything else. In basic, we call basic as pure research, fundamental research. There are three names: pure research, fundamental research. So these three are the same thing, and they actually expand the knowledge, the basic knowledge, the idea behind the background of the disease. But when we talk about solution, it is an applied question. And usually applied questions start like how? How do we treat them? But can it also start like what? Yes. What is the treatment of tuberculosis? So never ever think that if it's how it's applied. So this was just for the basic concept. Now, what kind of research question you should have if you want publications? Your research paper, your research question, ideally should have a why and a how. Although questions of what, questions that start with what is the risk factor? How much is the prevalence? Look, how much is the prevalence of multiple myeloma, for example? Okay, let's talk about this. Is it basic or is it applied? It starts with a how. Is it basic or is it applied? Hurry up, type. How much is the prevalence of? Very good. So don't be confused with this how. Very good. This is still basic. How do we treat multiple myeloma? So this is a very good question. First one, the basic research question for a cross-sectional study, because that's a prevalence related question. How much is the incidence of the disease? That's a very good question for a cohort study, for observational studies. But how do we treat? It's a very good question for clinical trial. Applied is a very powerful question for a clinical trial. How do we manage? How do we diagnose? How do we treat? How do we screen? Those are very good questions for interventional studies. So basic research questions are not useless. They are very good questions for cross-sectional studies, for case-controlled studies, for cohort studies, but they are not the questions for clinical trials. Every time I have to move to activate the sensors because the light disappears, Okay, it's back. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. Because when I'm still, the sense of things that the room, nobody's here in the room. Okay. So I hope this concept is clear, that the question about treatment management is a wonderful question for a clinical trial. But the basic research questions are not useless either. They are very good questions for observational studies. But what kind of research question you should have for review articles? Basic or applied? Now here we are kind of trapped. Here we are kind of trapped, right? Like for example, one of my papers had a research question on what is the mechanism by which, something like that, psoriasis and depression, major depression, are linked. So this was a review article question. This is a review article question. This is a review article question. What kind of research question? What kind of paper? What about the association question between two or more factors? Depends what are the factors. If you're studying risk factors, if you are studying risk factors, that will be cohort studies or even case control studies. If you're just studying the prevalence of something, that will be cross-sectional study. Now, what is the mechanism by which psoriasis and depression are associated? This is a basic research question again. And basic research question can be a very good question for a traditional review. So don't ever underestimate the basic research question either. Now, can this be a good research question for an in vitro study? A test tube research study? Absolutely. Can this be a very good question for animal studies? Absolutely. How will you study the mechanism in reality? There are so many studies done, right? There are so many studies done. There are so many studies done on this topic. That's why you can write a review article. So for review article, this is a question. But how did they actually get this information of the association between psoriasis and depression? How did they? They must have conducted some experiments, right? They must have done some studies, some animal studies, some in vitro studies. Maybe some clinical trials too. Just to understand the association of psoriasis and depression, whatever studies they conducted can actually be basic research questions, and they could be any study design. So the point I'm making here is, don't underestimate the power of basic research question. When the word basic comes in, we think that, oh, this is for kids, we don't need it. No, we all need it. Review article writers will need it. Although the concept is ideally for somebody who has just started to do research, and we teach them basic research, but actually basic research will not leave your career, will not leave you alone ever. You always will have to deal with basic research questions somewhere down the line. Applied research questions, now we know the solution. They are usually clinical trials. But a strange situation, sometimes observational studies can also give an idea about the solution of a problem. For example, if we can assess that there is a risk factor associated with XYZ problem. So now we can say, okay, that means the solution is that people should avoid this risk factor. So people are so scared of basic versus applied and this research question concept. If you see, everything is related. Everything is related, and this is nothing to be scared of. If it's a case study, for example, a patient with partial blindness, XYZ, we are just reporting that this patient has these and these symptoms and he had this problem and all the information possible about this. So this is simply a basic research question. Applied, we cannot usually give a solution. The reason is one person cannot be generalized. Although we do attempt to generalize the findings of one person to multiple people. But to be very honest, guys, a case report will be a basic research question most of the time. If you try to do an applied, it could be proven wrong if you have a bigger data, bigger sample size. Cross-sectional studies. Cross-sectional studies. We look at what? The prevalence of a problem. So we give a survey question to the population. We look at how people perceive the efficiency of vaccine, for example. So we are just looking at what people think about vaccine. What do people think about vaccine? What do people think about vaccine? XYZ. This is simply, again, a basic research question. Now, can there be an applied research question of cross-sectional study? Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility? Yes. How do we increase the awareness about vaccine? You give this kind of question survey and you collect answers from people. So you have a cross-sectional study, but it can also have applied questions sometimes. So what is the conclusion of this conversation that we are doing right now, guys? That any study design can have a basic research question and applied research question. Although, yes, most of the time it will be basic, but it can have applied question too. So don't ever get confused and don't get scared of this. Any of the study designs in the world can have basic research question or applied research question, just like cross-sectional study. What do people think about vaccine? This is basic research question. How can we increase the awareness about the efficiency of vaccine among this population? That's a basic question or applied question. It's applied question. Can survey question give the answers to this question? Absolutely. So yes, cross-sectional can be basic, but can be applied too. So don't get scared. Don't worry about this. What about the case control study? Case control has the risk factor, studying of risk factor. Most of the time it will be basic. Cohort will most of the time be basic as well. Cohort will be most of the time basic as well. But can it be applied? Yes. If our research about risk factor can in the end give a solution that this is the risk factor, so this risk factor should be avoided. So yes, we can make it and apply too. So the concept is clear, right? You can understand the difference between basic research question and applied research question, and you also understand that any of the study designs can be basic or applied, vice versa. This was the concept one. And will anyone ever ask you, is it a basic research question or applied research question? Nobody will ever ask. Nobody will ever ask you. This is a question for just pure basic research course MCQ question. That's it. You will probably never ever be asked, is it a basic research question or applied research question? Maybe somebody, a researcher will ask you in a job interview, but in real life you will not need that question, because there are so many things that we study but we actually don't need them in our real life. So that is one of those things. Basic versus applied, you should know that just how to differentiate, but you will never be asked this question. Whatever study design you choose, you can use any of the research questions, any type of research question, and just use your mind, and don't worry about it. If you have a cross-sectional study and your question looks like like an applied question, but you want to do a cross-sectional study, don't worry about it. So this was the concept number one. Concept one that we were discussing today is the research question, that different study designs can have different research questions, and basic and applied can be used either for cross-sectional study or for clinical trials. Don't worry about it. For experiment, for animal studies, pathophysiology questions, they look simple basic question, but they are good for review articles, but they are also good for in vitro studies because you are studying pathophysiology. They're also good for animal studies, in vitro studies. And can there be some clinical trials? Very rare, but yes, there can be, in which they try to understand the mechanism of a disease. So I hope this concept is clear. Second concept, this. Three W's. Third concept is another W. Fourth concept is another W. When you are starting your project, it doesn't matter what kind of project it is, you need to make sure you have clarity of what you exactly are doing, what kind of study design you have chosen, what will be your research question. You need that clarity. If you are confused and you are not clear, you cannot move forward. For example, if you don't know where you are heading, you cannot go there. If you don't know the address, so you need to know what exactly you are doing, and before you begin, you need to decide this, where exactly you want to go. So are you writing a traditional review, or you're writing a systematic review, or are you writing a scoping review? And in this training, you are actually learning mainly systematic review and traditional review, and choice is yours whether you want to write a systematic review or whether you want to write a traditional review. The choice is absolutely yours. Now, the question is, are you clear about it, what you're doing? Now remember, if you have time, if you have taken your USMLEs, go with systematic review. If you don't have time, stick with traditional review. Systematic review sometimes can take a lot of time, and you need full focus on your systematic review. If you feel you are feeling difficulty in writing a systematic review, then just change it to traditional review. How do you change your systematic review to a traditional review? No need for Prisma checklist, no quality assessment, no inclusion exclusion criteria. These three things are a must requirement for a systematic review. If you don't have these, it is a traditional review. So any research question can remain a traditional review. Many people say that I have already decided my research question, I have already decided I am writing a systematic review, but I don't have time. Can I now still change it to a traditional review? Why not? Absolutely, you can change it to a traditional review anytime. You just need to make sure you remove these things. So Javeria, I have a question, a very important question. If we have taken exams, can we do a systematic review in time for this year's match? You can absolutely do it, and you can finish it before September 29th. Yes, you can do that. It depends where exactly are you right now. If you ask me to do it, how fast I can do my project depends on research question. First of all, some questions and some topics are easier to handle. I can do it in a month. But some questions can be complicated. Some research questions can be complicated. They can take 2 months. Some questions can be way more complicated and they can take like 4 or 5 months, 6 months. So it all depends on your research question. That's number one. And secondly, you can try your level best to finish it in a month or in 15 more days. I would say 45 days. If you can do your effort and time, anything is possible. Anything is possible. But see, where exactly you stand in a kind of, I would say, 10 days you will be in a position to understand if your research question is something that can be done in next 45 days or not. First 10 days will give you an idea. When you start selecting your keywords and the mesh strategy, and then you do advanced search, and then you and search the databases, you will get an idea where exactly you stand, how difficult it can be. Can it be done in 45 days? Can it be done in 50 days? Can it be done in 30 days? Digital reviews can be done in 30 days. And our students have done it less than 30 days. One student, she did last year 23 days traditional review, and she published it. Crazy kind of students. We do have those kind of passionate people. But she had an edge that she was done with her exams. So yes, 23 days you can do traditional review, systematic review double 45. Same amount of effort. But systematic reviews, of course, they value more, and of course the residency directors will love it more. So there is no question about it. Now, if you don't have time, and you still want to do systematic review, then remember the main thing, the most important thing is publication. First, get a publication, finish one paper as a traditional review, and right after that, start working on a systematic review. So that you can mention that in the interview that right now you are working on a systematic review, and you can show half done systematic review to them. I hope this makes sense, and do you understand? I hope you understand the concept, what I'm saying. That finish a traditional review, but at the same time, after you're done, just start working on a systematic review, and you will have plenty of things about systematic review to talk about in the interviews. And be ready to answer questions. They may ask the methodology of systematic review, how you did it. If they ask you, what do you say? How did you do systematic review? What is the methodology used? You say, sir, systematic review is very easy. I can explain it to you. Don't worry about it. Yeah, just show your confidence. And you say, first, we divide into 3 phases. The first phase will be the planning phase. We plan. We decide our research question. I decide my research question. I decide my topic. Now I know where exactly I'm heading. And I'm all set with my inclusion, exclusion criteria. And now the next thing, I can do the protocol right now, but protocol can also be done after my search strategy is done. And that's the ideal way to do protocol as well, by the way. Now, then we move to phase 2. The phase 2, the search strategy begins. Then we decide how many databases we'll use. We decide our key databases, then we decide our keywords. If it's Medline and PubMed, of course, we will use match strategy, advanced search strategy. Once that is done, we have our data collected, and we also keep gray literature as well. So we have published literature and unpublished literature. We have combined them together. Now we have our data. We remove duplicates. Once we remove duplicates, then we do the screening, and we do 2 kinds of screening. title and abstract and full text. Once that is done, then we do the quality check. Once quality check is done, then we do data extraction. We take the data extraction form, we extract the data, and we are done with phase number 2. Now the phase 3 is the writing phase, and writing phase begins. If you know how to write, you can write it easily. Introduction, method, results, discussion, conclusion, and all 3 phases are done. Can you have your systematic review on your fingertips like this? I request you all, if you are in this training, can you do this on your fingertips? Do you want me to take Viva for all of you, one by one, a personalized Viva on a phone call or a Zoom call, and I give you scoring? Who can tell me all the steps of systematic review without missing a single step? Do you want me to take your test? Guys, this is my dream, that all the students can tell the steps of systematic review on their fingertips like this. And it's so easy. So easy. Write it down, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, and it becomes embedded in your mind like a DNA. If you can do that, I'm telling you, imagine how much you can impress a residency director. You have plenty of things to talk about. You can control your residency interview. If there is a question about systematic review, can you do that, guys? Who is willing to give me a Viva? You know, when we started like this. We had a Viva test in the end before giving the certificate. But then I removed that because I noticed some students had difficulty, and it was difficult for the students to attend the live exam, Viva exam. So I removed that. But I can bring it back. I'm thinking I should. I don't know. You guys give me a vote and tell me if we should do that. A mandatory test, a Viva test by your mentor about systematic review and traditional review, and whoever passes, scores 80%, gets the certificate. Okay, so what is clear, right? The clarity. Why are you doing it? Now, this is very important. Why are you doing it? Remember, different people. Remember, different people write the papers for different reasons. Some people write it for promotions. Some people write it for more salary. Some people want it for getting more residency interviews. Some people do to get matched for residency, right? Some people do that for fellowships. Some people do that for fame and popularity, because your research paper can give you recognition, right? Fame, popularity, recognition. Some people do that for respect. Some people do that to impress others. Different people have different reasons to write research papers. Which one is your reason? If any of these is your reasons, you have a wrong reason. If any of these is your reason, then you have a wrong reason. Change your reason and write paper. Take focus away from yourself and write paper for others. Write paper for serving others, service. Your paper should do service to others. Your paper should be a service to mankind. Your paper should be a service to others. It should be a service to mankind. It should be a service to humanity. It should be a service to the patients. It should be a service for the students. It should be a service for the doctors, senior doctors, junior doctors, but it should be for others. Don't be selfish. Stop thinking about this. Think about service. Let me tell you why. I grasped this concept in my life, and I was lucky that nature or God, you can say God gave me this concept, and I was lucky that I understood this concept. That service, if we focus on service, if our paper focuses on service, if we give service, we will get these things in return. We will eventually get promotions, we will get salary, we will get interviews, we will be matched, we will have fellowship, we will have fame, popularity, respect, recognition, we will have reputation as well, we will impress others, everything will make our family proud. Whatever is your goal, it will happen if you focus on service, because these things are the result of service. So think of a service. Is your research paper giving something to the mankind? Is your research paper giving something to the patients? Is your research paper giving something very valuable, increasing knowledge, helping others? If your research paper is helping others, you will get these things in return, whatever you want. This is the phenomena of nature. That's how nature works. Unfortunately, what happens is we think that if I get these things, once I achieve my goal, once I become, I will spend time on doing some service. Then I'll become Mother Teresa. I'll do service. I'll give something to the humanity. I'll give something back to the community. But the problem is, the world is not designed this way. The world is designed in a way that first you do service and you get these things in return. Unfortunately, that's the reality. So just change your intention and you will see a huge difference. Why some people write just ordinary articles and below average articles? Because they are focused on this. If they had focused on this, that I will produce value and I will give such great information and valuable paper with the intention of service, you will produce an outstanding paper and these things will run after you. People run after these things and these things run away from them. But if you run after this, these things will run after you. Why do you think the residency directors want you to do some volunteer work? They want to see if you are serving the community. If you want to serve community, have you served the community? Have you served people? Because your success is the result of service. How much have you served? Even as a doctor, you just focus on service, everything else will run after you. You're not working to get salary, you're not working to take care of yourself initially. Just remember, change this mindset. Although eventually that is true, right? Although that is true, everyone needs money to live, but just change the intention. Then no, my first priority is service. I will do service. I'll serve the patient, I'll serve the hospital, I'll serve everyone, I'll serve every single person I meet in my life. These things will run after you. With sincerity, I want to serve. So your research paper should be a service to mankind. Whatever your topic is, it should be a service to mankind, and you will see the results. These things will run after you. Because when you're focused on service, you automatically produce a wonderful quality. Imagine if you are determined to serve your patients, you will produce wonderful results in terms of the quality of treatment you will provide, the quality of focus you will provide to that patient, the quality of understanding you will have with your patient, the way you will listen to your patient, the way you will treat your patient, just because you are determined to serve. Just change your focus. You will get everything in return. So your research article, most people are focused on this. Oh, I want to match. Oh, I want interviews. That's why I need publication. No, just change the focus to service and see the results. You will get way more interview calls than you have ever expected in your life. Every single line you write in your paper should be to serve humanity, serve mankind. This philosophy changed my whole life. Everything after this, learning this philosophy, anything I produced was a service to mankind, was of good quality, was of great quality. And residency directors, they are not fools, guys. If you think that you're smarter than them, you can fool them. No, you cannot. They have become residency directors because of a reason. They have gone through this process. They have served the humanity. They have served mankind all of their lives. And they served even before matching when they were students. They served, they got volunteer work. Why did they do volunteer work? Because they wanted to serve and they got everything in return. So now they want to see if you have done the service. With your research paper, they are looking at, have you served the community? That's what they're looking at. They're not just looking at your publication. If that were true, then you could have written any useless paper and published in a pathetic journal, and you could have gotten residency. But it doesn't work this way. They want to see if you are determined to serve humanity. Okay, he or she served people with his paper. Look at the information this paper is giving. Look at the quality this paper is giving, because you can see this girl has service. This guy has provided the service. Look at this paper and look at his volunteer work. He has served the community. He knows how to do service. That means he is not a greedy person. He's not coming here for money. He's not here for residency. He's not here just to get residency and get money and get live a selfish life. He is focused on service. They want this kind of person. They don't want selfish people who want residency for money, who want to become doctors for money. And many people say, oh, don't go into psychiatry, don't go into family medicine, you don't make enough money. No, guys, that's not true. Some family medicine physicians are making $1 million a year. Some are making $500,000 a year. Some are making $200,000 a year. Some are making 150,000 a year. Some are making 500,000 a year. Some are making 1 million a year. Some are making 100,000 a year. Why? And majority will always be here. So people say, oh, family medicine or psychiatry doesn't give that much of money. That's not true. If you focus here, eventually you will reach this. Just think of ways how you can provide more service, how you can be more valuable to the community. Like Dr. Daniel Amen, one of the best psychiatrists in the world. He's a multimillionaire. Why? Because he did his residency, he did his psychiatry, and then he started his clinics all over California. Amen Clinic, diagnostic clinics with MRI and CT scans. Read about him, you'll find out. So if you think of service, money will run after you. So your paper will be a service to mankind. Promise yourself. Once you have clarity, your top paper will be a service to mankind. Right on the top of the page, I will provide value to the community. And that's my service. Write it down on the top of the page so that you don't forget your mission. I will provide value to the community with this paper because this is my service. We all human beings are here to serve each other. I am serving you all today by guiding you all. And that doesn't make me a small person. I'm here for your service. You will be here. You are here for service to your patients. We all are here to serve each other. And when we have the concept of service, we don't get arrogant. You don't become arrogant when you think of service. When you think you are bigger, you are a doctor, oh, these patients are coming here, okay, they want me now. You're not providing service. You will always be like a mediocre doctor with 100,000 to 150,000 a year, living an average life. But if you are humble, service will make you humble. Everyone will see that. Nature will see that. Success, peace of mind, happiness, everything, health, wealth, good life, everything will run after you. Now, concept number 4, very important. For whom are you writing? Who are you serving? Who is the service beneficiary? Who is the service beneficiary? Who are you providing the service to? With this paper, who are you writing this paper for? Remember, there are possibilities. You're writing either for women, adult women, 25 to 50, or you're writing for men, or you're writing for both, or you're writing for children. You're educating children, or you're writing for pediatrician, or you're writing for psychiatrist, or you're writing for medical students, or you're writing for teachers, medical teachers. Who are you writing it for? This concept is very important because why this concept is important? Because your way of talking will change depending upon who you are talking with. If your paper is for first year medical students, you will explain all the concepts in your introduction. You will start from the very basic. If you're talking to children, you will start from the very, very beginning. But you're talking to dean of a university or a head of a department of internal medicine, senior professors, then you will not have to go into the basics. So you explain initially in what are you writing, why are you writing, who is your reader. If you can do that, if you explain that, you will attract more readers. It will become clear for everyone who this paper is for. For example, if I read a paper and the introduction gives me an idea that this paper is for medical students, I forward it to all of my students. If I see a paper that gives the suggestion that it is for teachers, I personally read it and I will forward it to all the teachers I know. If I see a paper that is for experts, then I'll send that paper to all the experts in the field. You will attract more readers. You will have more clarity. You will have more ideas how you address that person. And let me give you another idea. Let's say you are writing a paper for a man who is between 25 to 50 years of age. And you're educating in this article about the disease XYZ. So draw this person and give him an age. Okay, he is 30-year-old. He has a job and he lives here, maybe in the US, or he lives in Egypt, he lives in England, he lives in India, whatever. Now, 30-year, he has job, he lives XYZ location, and he has this disease. Now you are educating this person. And you give him a name. Michael. Now, while writing your paper, always keep Michael in mind, that you're talking to Michael. Keep in your mind that you're talking to Michael. If you keep in your mind that you're talking to Michael, you will produce astonishing results. Subconsciously. We don't know how it works. We don't know how it works. It happens. It's the basic rule of speaking, public speaking. When I learned public speaking early in my career, this is the lesson I learned, that you decide who your audience would be. Think of one person and talk to that person. Think of one person and talk to that person. Provide all the relevant information that that one person wants. Similarly, for writing blogs and essays, same philosophy. You think of that person and talk to that person. And you will see that there are millions of people that fit this Michael criteria. And they all will eventually be attracted to this paper. How? One reader will forward it to others. Two readers will forward it to two more people, different people, and people will make your paper popular. That's how this works. But if you are not clear who you're writing with, you have everyone else in everyone. If you think you are writing a paper for everyone, you're wrong. It's not possible. You are not writing a paper for everyone. You cannot do that. It's impossible. Either, even for example, either you give basic details. If you are giving basic details, that's automatically for medical students or final year students or early young doctors. It's obviously not for the experts. If you give details of basic concepts and you move forward, that's for basic people, right? For early doctors or young physicians or young students. But if you are not going into the basic details, you directly jump to a bigger topic, did not give enough details in the beginning, that is quite evident that this is for the experts. And now when you are talking to the experts, you have to be very, very careful. Now picture a Nobel Prize, Dr. Michael, Nobel Prize winner, if you're writing for an expert, Dr. Michael Johnson, for example. We don't know if this is a real name. I'm just hypothetically creating a name. Let's say he's a Nobel Prize winner, okay? Dr. Michael Johnson, the Nobel Prize winner in XYZ field. Okay, so you're writing a paper for Dr. Michael Johnson, and he is an expert in the field of pediatrics. So you're writing about Hirschsprung disease, and he's an expert. So you're writing paper for all the experts related to Hirschsprung disease. You want to talk about new ideas for management. So how would you begin? Just keep Dr. Michael in your mind that you're talking to him. Your whole perspective will change. Your whole perspective will change. Whole idea will change. The whole philosophy will change of writing. So you are serving Dr. Michael Johnson. Now, concept number 5. I would say create your avatar. Create your avatar, a cartoon. A cartoon, you create a cartoon avatar of Michael Johnson or Michael, the guy, 30-year-old, who you are writing this paper for. Or if you're writing for first year medical students, draw a first year medical student and keep him in your mind. You are serving that person. Is that concept clear? Can we jump to number 5 now? Any questions about it? Nobody has any questions? Okay. Now, the 5th, create a Word document. This concept will help you. And call it as my data. This is where you will collect all of your data. If you don't create this, you will always remain confused where to collect data, what to do. And if you have all the data on one page, you will get more ideas, you will get more mind running, and you will enjoy your process of writing better. If you're writing a systematic review, then your data, my data page will have 3 headings: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. But in phase 3, you don't do anything. So phase 3 is actually the writing phase. And that is the concept number 6. You create the phase 3 on a new sheet, and that will be called as my article. When you have the concept of my article separate and my data separate, the paper writing concept and the idea, I would say the paper writing will become easy for you. Create a Word document, call it as my article. Here you will write your article. So if you move with this approach, if you start with this approach and you stick with this approach, you will produce wonders. Your paper will produce such a wonderful quality that you will be astonished and you will not even believe that you did it. When I changed my concept to service and this avatar concept, this organized my paper like this, I could not even believe that I did this paper. I produced such a wonderful work in so many other things. I could not believe I produced such a wonderful work. Same with the courses, the video courses you see on the account you have on our website. The courses, the idea is the same. You see, concept number two, sorry. Concept number two, clarity. I have the clarity. What am I doing? Okay. I know that with my course, I'm serving you all. I'm serving you all. With the courses, with the lecture, I'm serving you all. Even for today's lecture, my goal was to provide the service. I provide you something that you did not know before and that can change your life or impact your life. Or if you let's say you knew that before, it will be a revision and it will strengthen your neurons or neuronal connections. It will give a good revision. Then for whom I'm delivering this lecture? For John. And I write, and many of the courses I make for John, who is a 25-year-old planning for USMLE or PLAB. Today's lecture was for John, and automatically it attracted all of you. So my avatar, John, was in my mind. So today's lecture was for John, but it benefited all of you because I wanted to serve John. And eventually, it is serving all of you today. So this concept, these 3 W's, will change everything for you. And remember this concept, 5 and 6 is a how. How do you do it? Then your plan. So this is it for today's lecture, guys. This was the 6 concepts that I want all of you to remember. You should know research questions. You should know that there are different study designs, and basic and applied can be relevant to any of those, depending upon what you are studying. So don't ever get confused about research questions. And then what are you doing? Your clarity. Why are you doing? You're doing it for service. For whom you're doing? Your Michael or your John. Focus on that person. That person should be in your mind, and then create a Word document and for data collection, call it my data, and create my article page, and that will be your article page for your article. And that's it. These are the concepts for today's session. I hope now the concept is clear. Now, do you have any questions before I leave? Hope you guys enjoyed today's session. Hope you guys learned something and this was useful. Any comments? Any questions? Did you guys enjoy today's session? Okay, no questions. Any concerns? Now, about your papers, any questions? Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm glad you guys liked it, and this opened another window in your brain that was not there before. I'm telling you, any single point can change your whole life. Any single point that you hear in my lectures or in any lectures can change your life. Please ask question freely. And let me give you an example. Let's say golf. You know the game, the sports golf. Let's say you're playing golf. So if you want to hit the ball in the hole, you hit it right. Now, if you're all set and you just move 1 degree, 1 degree, just not 10 degrees, not 15 degrees, just 1 degree, and you hit it, you will see the ball will go way beyond where you had ever imagined. Now, let's say you have been hitting and your ball had been going somewhere different, in different direction, but the hole was straight. You don't have to change the whole direction. You don't have to change the whole 15 degrees or 30 degrees or 90 degrees. What you have to do is, if your ball was going over there, you just have to change 1 degree and you hit it, and you will be surprised to see that the ball will go directly into the hole. So only 1 degree can change the destiny of the ball in the sports golf. Same thing with all sports. Same thing with our life. Only one piece of information can change our lives. You probably have just one piece of information missing from changing your life. And usually that is the case. We think, oh, I don't know, I'm so way behind. How will I be successful? I don't know these things. I don't know how to be successful. You just need one information, one piece of information. Okay, so question is, does it matter what question, basic or applied, we use for review articles? No, it doesn't matter. But remember, the higher the chances of publication are for the questions that are focusing on why is it happening, how is it happening, why it is happening, how is it happening, why this is a treatment, how this is done, why this is a diagnosis, how can this be diagnosed in any other way, how and a why, how and a why, how and a why. So think beyond basic and applied now, become adult beyond that, and think of how it can happen, why it can happen. If two things are associated, pathophysiology, why is it happening, how is it happening. I have a question for a good systematic review. What is the minimum number of articles to refer to? Okay, very good question, Javiria. To write a systematic review successfully, if your 5 references are enough, yes, only 5 references are enough to write a systematic review. If, let's say, you only have 5 papers. But I would recommend always set a limit of 25, minimum 25, maximum 100. Minimum 25, maximum 100 for CIBNP article. Although you can write a systematic review of just 5 articles. Yes, you can do it. Okay, please do a short session on video on search strategy on other databases other than PubMed. Ahmed, is so easy. You just use regular keywords, no search strategy, regular keywords, and go on different databases. That's it. Can you please send me the recordings of the lecture today? I'm not deleting it. Same link. I'm keeping it. So don't worry about it. We're not deleting it. Any other question? You know, if I were you, what I do, I will write these questions: what, why, whom, and I'll draw my avatar on the first page before writing, and then I'll start my writing. And then before submission, I'll remove that page. Anyone else has any questions? Okay, nobody has any questions left. Thank you guys for coming. And if you think of any question that you cannot think of right now, just send a message to me on my WhatsApp. You have my number, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And let's do that. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And let's meet again in another session. Let me announce. This time the session will be either Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll announce. Or it is possible I do that tomorrow as well. I'll see if I'm available. I'll do that session tomorrow, and we can further expand and go beyond this and further into more details of everything and learn more. Okay, thank you guys. See you again very soon. Have a good day.